Aryama Sundaram, again, let me ask you the broader question. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the law in just a little while, but you know, as not just a lawyer, but as a learned person, I'm asking you this. By allowing a change in the character of Gyanvapi, isn't this giving way to a type of majoritarian politics in India? Ultimately, is this leading us in India to a situation where our basic identity in terms of culture and faith is being altered, where it's my way or the highway, as opposed to us living together and accepting that there are differences?
You know, you cannot divorce the law from this issue, unfortunately. But I'll try to answer you purely on a non-legal platform. You are talking about a departure. I'm afraid that there is no departure. India has had this kind of religious inter-rivalry for generations. It's nothing new. I mean, don't forget that the partition and all that happened during the partition, and we are talking about even at the stage of independence of India. So the question of a religious divide is as old as the world. You have it, you've had it in the Crusades between the Christians and the Muslims during the Crusades. You've had it amongst the Protestants and the Catholics. I mean, religious divide is always there, which is why probably Karl Marx said that religion is the opiate of the masses. The fact of the matter is, once there are religions, there will be a religious divide. In India, we assure secularism. And this is where I think everybody forgets what is really secularism. Secularism is non-involvement of the state in religion. Secularism does not mean that the state protects different religions or state canvasses for any particular religion or protects any religions. Basic secularism means is that all, irrespective of their religion, the state does not see any religious divide.
Right.
Which is why when you have individuals who say they have a right to worship or a right to go to a particular temple or a mosque or otherwise, it becomes basic civil rights and basic claim to a religious worship, and has to be judged as a case in that respect.
Okay.
And that is why I said you cannot really divorce the law completely, but because if you look at the way our country has been over generations, and like I said, the whole world, there have always been religious questions raised, and this is nothing new.
All right.
And when somebody turns around and says, I want to have a right of worship in a place where I have had a right of worship, then the courts are approached, and the courts are courts which have jurisdiction to decide civil issues. And that's what happens. They need not go to court. They could equally go to the streets. They could equally canvass it otherwise. In the Crusades, they went to war. During partition, we had riots.
The essential point
but
that you're saying is, if you use the word secular, it means it applies for all religions, and therefore there's a sense of equality, and that disputes as far as interfaith issues are concerned have always been there, and they need to be sorted out, and the law needs to do that. That's the job, in a sense, of the law.